It's time to wake up and open your eyes to the matrix. This is going out to the truthers and patriots. Living free and dying hard, speaking through battle scars. An army of one becomes a global resistance. Like I was chosen by God, I was sent with a message to destroy the new world order.
We are the first in the nation to test this new vaccine on children, and that's happening here in Oklahoma City. So it's very disconcerting. And frankly, before we get into details, if Oklahoma becomes a vector for the swine flu, I know who to point a finger at. Anyways, James, do you have any information on IPS?
Yeah, they said that they anticipate that they'll have 200 children. The first group will be 200 children ages 3 to 8. And then nationwide we're going to have 12,000 altogether. Now, one of the issues with this is this type of ingredient that's in this has been linked to the Gulf War syndrome.
Is it squalene?
Yes.
Did you guys read,
Wow.
anyone familiar with the book Vaccine A? Absolutely outstanding piece of work, and it was an investigation by name, his name is Gary Monsanto, something. He is Japanese American.
Vaccine A. Okay.
Vaccine A, extremely well researched, and one of the big issues with squalene, and it made complete sense. It causes autoimmune disorders, rheumatoid arthritis, and they've known this forever in animals. They put it in guinea pigs.
Is this a preservative?
It is an adjuvant. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's oil-based, and it's a molecule that is found in the body. They put it in cosmetics, but when you inject it into your bloodstream, it causes a whole lot of problems. MS. I mean,
It takes apart your neurological sensors
Yes.
in the brain, which I guess bipolar and so forth suffer, and then
it causes all sorts of problems,
Yeah.
and a lot of times not right off the bat. And but that book is so well researched, and it was a book I happened to pick up. I haven't heard that much about it. When I went online to look, it was really hailed as being, and I knew that was a good book.
Well,
Vaccine A.
Well, one of the issues is all of these vaccines contain thimerosal. This is a form of mercury, and children this age, their bodies are not able to excrete the toxins from their system as readily as an adult can. This is a neurological toxin, causes permanent damage to these children, and the parents aren't notified of these types of possible side effects. Well, I say side effects, it's an effect.
Yeah, and the vaccine industry in this country is very powerful. They control the foundations. They control a lot of the medical research money. They hand out foundations grants, you know, like it's going out of style, to keep their illusion intact that they're actually helping children, when in fact they're harming children. And the cover-up on vaccines is different at every level. You have people covering it up to preserve the reputation of the medical industry, which has gone awry for so long with the vaccine issue and so forth. Many different reasons why people will not expose this in mainstream media. But the fact is, here in Oklahoma, IPS Research is going to be distributing swine flu vaccine, and as we've seen, there's a lot of fishy things going on with swine flu and the push for the vaccine.
Tell me Baxter isn't.
Baxter's part of it. There's all of them are part of it, and Baxter just back in February.
Usual suspects, right?
Yeah.
Coming in.
The Toronto Sun did a big article about the production contaminated with live bird flu virus from Baxter. This was sent out, and the only reason it got picked up and realized was that they did some tests that weren't standard, and these ferrets died from
Independent tests.
Independent tests aside from them.
Did y'all hear there's a lawsuit? There's actually a lady is filing a lawsuit against Baxter. They sent it out to 15 or 19 countries, and was it Czechoslovakia, I think, that did the ferret test?
Yeah, yeah.
And what I want to know is how in the
Well,
heck
Czech
did
and Slovakia probably.
live bird flu get into a standard flu?
Yeah, it wasn't even a vaccine for bird flu.
On
It
that-
shouldn't
on-
have even been in
Did
there.
they just have some laying around and
Yes,
knocked it over? And
On
I
that
mean, come on.
lawsuit and the test, the new laws concerning vaccine, am I correct, is these safeguards will be removed. There will be no independent testing for the vaccine in America, and they're immune from lawsuits.
Well, to fast track it so it's ready for the
Fast track
big pandemic in the
Yeah,
fall.
it's funny you
for
mentioned
the pig
squalene.
fever.
Well, the Protecting the Homeland Act that came out before the Patriot Act removed them from being sued or
Yeah, that's
victim
what
immunity.
woke me up to the vaccine issue, was the fact that they added that vaccine immunity,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to the Homeland Security Act. I was like, why is Orrin Hatch pushing for this when a big mercury lawsuit was just hitting the table? Just then they gave him immunity. He's like, you know what? I'm not giving my children vaccinations just because of that, and that's when I really started to look into it.
Well, the Secretary of Health and Human Services here in the United States has signed a document which gives legal immunity to the vaccine makers and officials alike. So no need to worry, Baxter. If you send out some live bird flu and kill some kids, hey, you're gonna be get off scot-free.
Here in Oklahoma City, IPS, which stands for Integrity, People, and
What
Service,
kind of a moniker is that?
is
Jeez.
they're going to be doing the testing on Oklahoma children, and their website, I suppose their public affairs director, is at FLEE, F-L-E-E, FLEE at ipsresearch.com. That is FLEE at ipsresearch.com, and their company phone number is 405-235-8188. I repeat, 405-235-8188. So you need to give them a call and find out exactly what they're going to be doing. If there's going to be safeguards, if there's going to be independent testing, if their research is covered under this new immunization laws that allow them not to be sued for malfeasance or error.
How about the study referral phone number? That might be a good one. You'll probably be hitting the receptionist at the main number. The study referral number, go ahead.
Is 405-231-4242. I repeat, 405-231-4242. If you're listening here in Oklahoma, we need to flood these people with calls. They are operating in a little office near downtown Oklahoma City. They probably can't handle too much volume. So let's let them know. Let's overwhelm them with concerns. Let them know they will be held liable if.
So let's get this straight. This is going to be the first 200
The first 200 in
the
nation.
country.
Yes, and we're using Oklahoma kids ages 3 to 8 as guinea pigs.
Where are they advertising for this study, I wonder, for the children?
I'm wondering where they're getting the kids.
Are they hanging it up at the welfare office?
They could be doing it on foster children, kids who are in custody by the state,
I'm wondering where they're
who have no
advertising.
choice.
Yeah.
That's the
this-
MO.
Yeah, at all.
Are they paying for volunteers? Is it a paid?
We need to find out.
Okay.
And if you call IPS people, ask them, where are they getting the money for this? Who's paying them? What kids are they using? I mean, is it 200 children? Is that right, James?
Yes, the initial group will be 200
Okay,
children.
where are they getting 200 children to inject experimental pig flu vaccines into?
We just did a simple quick search, and this is located less than a block from St. Anthony's, the largest hospital in Oklahoma City, the oldest hospital. And they just dumped out, what, $22 million, more than that, into the hospital complex. This is within that complex. I'm not saying it's underwritten by St. Anthony's, but they're working hand in hand with a lot of the facilities there. So.
Yeah, just search it online, XQuick or startpage.com, IPS Research in Oklahoma City, and get their info, call them, email them, and let's find out what they're doing, because this is spooky. Like I said, if Oklahoma becomes a vector for pig flu, I'm pointing the finger, you know.
Well, and this is a way for people to get involved, and like we've said every time, don't take our word for it, don't take the CDC's word for it, go out and research it yourself. I mean, this can have serious effects on your children for the rest of their life. It's worth taking 30 minutes just to do a little bit of research.
Yes, I have 2 sons, neither of whom are vaccinated and never will be. And myself, I unfortunately was vaccinated as a child, and most people didn't know, weren't aware of the issue back then. But that's the last one I'm getting, so I'm not taking a shot. They can vaccinate my bullet-ridden body, but I'm not taking one of them on free will.
Well, that's another issue with this is, you know, you've got the Model Emergency Health Powers Act that Oklahoma was listed. I did a little research on this. It was listed as, most states did not pass that whole thing, which would allow them to mandatorily vaccinate you. You wouldn't have a choice, or they could quarantine you, take away your property and all of that stuff. Most of the states that passed any of it just passed a portion of it, and I know that Oklahoma is one of those states, but I don't know what that legislation is yet. I'm gonna look it up.
So it sounds like someone was fishing for this.
We keep talking about the mandatory vaccinations in the fall. I mean, once they're done with these trials, you know, they've got enough. $8.5 billion has been allocated for the mandatory vaccinations in this country. And what do they mean by mandatory? I mean, I can only take that one way.
That
It's
means
not a
mandatory.
suggestion.
Yeah.
That means force involved, at gunpoint if necessary.
Well, I was trying to find out, you know, because it has to meet certain definitions and requirements, and I was trying to find out what that is, and I'm not the only one trying to find out. We're having trouble finding out exactly what point that turns over and takes power away from the states.
Well, the World Health Organization took us to level 6 over a month ago. So
Yeah.
we have stayed there.
They are really ramping the fear on this up. I mean, they're really pushing this. I mean, 3,000 people die a day from malaria. They should have gone level 6 on malaria about 30 years ago. And just a handful of people relatively have died from pig flu. And all of a sudden it's a big emergency.
It's a pig fever.
Yeah, pig fever in Oklahoma.